So this week I had the absolute pleasure of visiting Hay-on-Wye, which is known as the UK's first book town. So obviously it was kind of up my street. This is Hay-on-Wye, a beautiful town in Wales, sort of at the periphery of the Brecon Beacons, and it is just such a charming little place. I was there for Hay Festival this weekend, and instead of telling you how beautiful and lovely it is, I want to show you. So this is a little vlog of when I went book shopping in Hay-on-Wye. And now I'm back with a couple of books. I made all of my purchases in the Richard Booth bookshop. Now, Richard Booth apparently was known as the King of Hay. Here he is, immortalised on a tote bag, because if there's one thing book lovers adore, it's a tote bag. And he apparently was instrumental in making Hay a bookshop town. So, I bought some books. Here they are. Although I visited a lot of shops, this one was the shop that had most of the kind of like contemporary modern novels, and that's what I was sort of in the market for, especially translated fiction is what I was sort of looking out for, or like world literature at least. And so I thought I'd do a little haul for you. So the first book that I picked up was Paradise by Fernanda Melchor. This was translated by Sophie Hughes, and I've had my eye on this for a really long time. This publishers actually publish all of their books with exactly the same cover. They just obviously, they edit the title and the author name. I wish they had the translator on the cover. It is on the back, but I wish it was on the front. I think there's a big campaign right now to have translators' names on the cover of the book. And actually, while I was at Hay Festival, I listened to a talk by this year's winners of the International Booker Prize, and they also spoke about how important it is to have the translator's name on the cover. So, but anyway, hopefully that's something we'll see in the future. For now, I absolutely love this shade of blue, and actually, Paradise was another International Booker Prize nominee this year, so I'm very excited to read it. I'll read you the blurb. So, inside a luxury housing complex, two misfit teenagers sneak around and get drunk. Franco, lonely, overweight, and addicted to porn, obsessively fantasizes about seducing his neighbour, an attractive married woman and mother, while Polo dreams about quitting his grueling job as a gardener within the gated community and fleeing his overbearing mother and their narco-controlled village. Each facing the impossibility of getting what he thinks he deserves, Franco and Polo hatch a mindless and macabre scheme. Written in a thrilling torrent of prose by one of our most exciting new writers, Paradise explores the explosive fragility of Mexican society, fractured by issues of race, class, and violence, and how the myths, desires, and hardships of teenagers can tear life apart at the seams. How good does that sound? And then there is a quote, a review on the back, which says that the author has a powerful voice, and by powerful, I mean unsparing, devastating, the voice of someone who writes with rage and has the skill to pull it off. That review alone is enough to make me want to read this literally right now. So yeah, very excited about that one. Next, and this is really cool, so I bought Cursed Bunny. This is by Bora Chung and translated by Anton Her, and actually, I was in the green room of Hay Festival, and someone came over to me and he said that he enjoyed my videos. We got chatting. I was like, what do you do? What are you here for? And he is the translator of this book that I had literally bought that morning. How mental is that? So then I was like, oh my gosh, please can you sign my copy that I bought? And so there it is. So now this is actually a signed copy of Cursed Bunny, which is so cool. And Anton is actually an incredible translator, and he translates from Korean. And not only was he nominated for the Booker Prize with this book, which was shortlisted, he was also longlisted for the International Booker Prize with another book that he wrote, or another book that he translated, called Love in the Big City. So what a guy. I feel really honoured to have met him, and I love this cover as well. The front looks like this, and look at the back. I love it. Anyways, let's read the blurb. Cursed Bunny is a genre-defying collection of short stories by Korean author Bora Chung. Blurring the lines between magical realism, horror, and science fiction, Chung uses elements of the fantastic and surreal to address the very real horrors of cruelties of patriarchy and capitalism in modern society. Anton He's translation skillfully captures the way Chung's prose effortlessly glides from being terrified to wryly humorous. I'm excited. This has been on my watch list for absolutely ages because one of my favourite booktubers, Books and Bow, recommended this book very highly, and so I'm taking their word for it. I wanted to read this book straight away. This is described as a glorious Anglophone debut enabled by award-winning Anton He, which is poised to shock and delight. Bizarrely enigmatic, Chung's collection proves irresistible. And I agree because I could not resist buying this book, so there you go. Next, I bought The End of the World is a Cul-de-sac, mostly because I love this title so much. This is by Louise Kennedy, and I believe it's another collection of short stories. In these visceral, stunningly crafted stories from one of the most important short story writers to emerge in the past decade, people are effortlessly cruel to one another, and Ireland's folklore and politics loom large. But with the natural world as a primitive save, flashes of beauty, even humour, are found amidst the harshest of truths. And it's described as like 15 novels squeezed between two covers, ready to blow your mind. I am ready. My body is ready. My mind is ready. Let's go, Louise Kennedy. Next, another title I just couldn't resist. This is My Pen is the Wing of a Bird. It gives me like, Emily Dickinson vibes. This is new fiction by Afghan women, described as powerful, profound, and deeply moving. These stories will expand your mind and elevate your heart. A woman's fortitude saves her village from disaster. A teenager explores their identity in a moment of quiet. A petition writer reflects on his life as a dog lies nursing her puppies. A tormented girl tries to find love through a horrific act. A headmaster makes his way to work, treading the fine line between life and death. My Pen is the Wing of a Bird is a landmark collection, the first anthology of short fiction by Afghan women in English translation. 18 writers tell stories that are both unique and universal, of family, work, childhood, friendship, war, gender identity, and cultural traditions. The result of more than 2 years' collaboration between writers, translators, and editors, this collection introduces extraordinary writers with original, vital, and unexpected stories to tell. My Pen is the Wing of a Bird comes at a pivotal moment in Afghanistan's history, when these voices must be heard. Damn, that sounds incredible. And so I will let you know what I think. I might do a whole video on short story collections, since I seem to have gravitated to a fair few. These have been books I've been eyeing up for a little while, so I was really buzzing to see them in this bookshop. And then the final book that I bought was a real roguie because I literally picked it up like on my way to the till. And this is Ragnarok, which is by A.S. Bayat, and I actually studied Norse mythology at university, which at first I found so intimidating. I felt like everyone in my seminar just knew everything already. Like as soon as we started, they just seemed to know everything and I knew nothing. I was going in very much as a beginner. So I found the course really difficult and I had to do so much additional studying because I've quickly discovered that the seminar leaders and the tutorial leaders were not about to explain this mythology to us. We were just expected to already know it. I didn't. So we were like diving straight in with the literature, like Snorri's prose edda. And although they sort of tell the stories, you did actually require some sort of like prior knowledge of the mythology, so, and the time period too, so I had to do a lot of extra research. Anyway, let's not talk about that traumatic experience. Now I feel, after all of that work, I would really love to enjoy reading this kind of thing again without the pressure of having to do an exam in it, without the pressure of having to speak about it in a seminar. I love mythology, and so I am excited to read this because I've been really, really into Greek mythology, which I also did study at university, but I already had like a vested interest in that, and I could really see the difference between coming to a mythology that you already had some prior knowledge of versus coming to one that you didn't. So anyway, I've really enjoyed reading a lot of Greek mythology, and I thought I would, there was a mythology section in the Richard Booth bookshop, there's the tote bag again, and they had a section on Norse mythology. So, as the bombs rain down in the Second World War, one young girl is evacuated to the English countryside. Struggling to make sense of her wartime life, she is given a copy of ancient Norse myths, and her inner and outer worlds are transformed. Linguistically stunning and imaginatively abundant, Bayat's mesmerising tale, inspired by the myth of Ragnarok, is a landmark piece of storytelling from one of the world's greatest writers. So if something I wrote had been described as linguistically stunning and imaginatively abundant, I could retire on the spot. That is high praise indeed. So I am excited to read this. It's described as brilliant, highly intelligent, fiercely personal, gorgeous. So that's by Ursula K. Le Guin. I'm excited to read this book. And that's my little haul. There we go. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. I thoroughly enjoyed my trip to Hay-on-Wye. I'd recommend a trip if you fancy it. It is very quaint and pretty, and everyone is so kind and nice there. And I really enjoyed my trip. So thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.